This is the DRT from the USS MADDOX from April 4th, 1964. So this is the track of the MADDOX. Turner was close behind by what, 1,000 yards was it?
Yeah. Station 2, 1,000 yards astern. This chart behind me is a DRT trace. DRT means dead reckoning trace. And in a ship of World War II vintage, as MADDOX was, this is a table that has a glass top that's lighted up. And inside the, underneath the tabletop, there is a system of geared matrix or a small gadget that's geared to the ship's movement. And so there's a little projected light up on the screen that shows the ship's position as it maneuvers around. It's hooked into the gyro compass, and so we're able to plot on the paper, on the table, the position of the ship on our paper. And from that, then we would, the radarmen around this table would use ranges and bearings from sonar or radar or any other information source and plot that on the paper relative to where our ship was. So in this way, we can make a record of what's going on, where the ship is by its geographic position on the planet, and how it's, according to its maneuvers, we can tell its geographic position and then plot in whatever activities we want to record on paper. So that's what we have here for the night of August 4th, 1964, and in the so-called Gulf of Tonkin incident. And this night action is the one that seems to be always being questioned, that it never happened. Well, this is an authentic copy of the original DRT trace during that action. And it shows our position geographically. Courses and speeds are plotted here, activities around us, hostile contacts or skunks, unidentified surface contacts, what a skunk is. Several of them are being recorded. Then 2 become of concern. Skunk Victor and Romeo, they were designated, or Uniform Victor rather. And Skunk Victor was detected making a high-speed run on an intercept course, so that is plotted on here. The way that he turned and the time and our position, Turner Joy's position and ours at the time this boat apparently launched a torpedo, judging by his maneuver. This chart trace also shows how our emergency turn was made, the direction, and what happened then. The track of the hostile, or the skunk, lines up, assuming that the torpedo was launched on an attack run, where the boat actually positioned itself on an intercept torpedo launching run. That torpedo would then follow that track. So we can plot on here the expected track. Now, we have plotted on it, the radarman drew one in, not using that explanation. So the actual line on there noted as the torpedo track is not correct. It's actually lined up with the track of the skunk, which then, according to our track, lines up very closely to Turner Joy's port side after he's turned, which was exactly the place where 4 warm body humans, saw a real torpedo passing close aboard from aft forward on the port side. That included the director officer, ASW officer, experienced also petty officer in the director. It included the port lookout, and it included another petty officer in the forward gun director. So that is a very sure visual sighting, and this gives us the position of what the ships were doing at that time, which also confirms the idea that this particular contact, the skunk, actually made an attack, and we maneuvered according to what we saw in his performance. So that's all recorded on the original DRT, and of course this is a photostat or blueprinted copy of the original.
Okay, this is the map of
First action on 2 August.
okay, and I'll have you narrate on this too. I'm just catching this is a smaller version of the map here. Let's see. It's the coast. This is the track of the Maddox. You pick up the skunk at 1633, looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to follow that track right now.
What you see here is another photo or a blueprinted copy of the original DRT trace for the first action on August 2nd, 1964. This was the action where we were attacked by 3 PTs being plotted. We started here at this time because we picked up 3 PT boats closing us and with a hostile intent. So we knew we were going to be attacked, and we were attempting to clear the area at best speed. So the shift over here.
If you like, yeah. You can even walk. I'm going to take rolling.
All right, at time 33, when we shifted scale and started tracking the Skunk November, that was the 3 PT boats. This is their track, and they then split into 3 abreast. Then they started a weaving maneuver, apparently trying to break a fire control solution on them. And then at that point, at time 58, they were here and we were over here. So they were coming in on our stern and paralleling almost, but closing us at the same time here. They're closing on this track, we're on this track, and we continued on, and at this particular point at time 05, we were here and they were here. So at this time we fired warning shots, and with the idea of also obtaining a check on the correction for the next shot, which we intended to be on them. So this is this notation here indicates when we opened fire with intent to stop them. So this was at time 08, and 2 of the boats were here, and there's a third one, the first one in their formation, broke off and started to maneuver to get ahead of us. So the main threat was the ones coming in. So we noticed at this particular point, one of them became dead in the water and started burning. Well, let's see. This was time 30. This is later on. Anyway, here we are, Maddox coming down, firing at the 2 main boats coming in, and at this time they had launched the torpedoes. We noticed at about time 15. So the tracks of the torpedoes are such that they would hit us as we came down this track here. So anyway, we turned to avoid them at this point, to parallel them, and one in fact passed close alongside, right in this area, on our starboard side, probably about 8 to 10 feet from the ship. I was on the bridge then and was able to look straight down at the torpedo and see the paint on the side of it and so forth as it went by. So at that time the boats broke off and went astern after they had launched, and one boat had gone dead in the water and was burning on the way back. We had aircraft in by that time and began attacking them with Zuni rockets and 20 millimeter. They apparently didn't hit them because the boats would jog aside when they saw the rockets being launched from the aircraft. Okay, so here we are. Let's see, here we are. Now we've shifted fire to the boat that is out ahead and now coming in towards us. We hit the boat. I saw torpedo tubes flying in the air and a large chunk of the bridge. The boat kept going, and it started to retire. We then turned around to chase them. That's this turn right here. And at this particular point, I noticed under the bow, the torpedo that had passed us had meanwhile slowed down, and we passed it. Then when we turned around to chase the boats, we were headed right into that torpedo. So that was some very aggressive ship handling, hard rudder and twisting engines and shifting and fishtailing. We maneuvered to miss that torpedo. After that then, the planes went back, and we headed south to clear the area, and then we went south to rearm, refuel, and pick up Turner Joy.